The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the K-Ghost Radio Network and its website are those of the host, guest, and participants, and they are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcast, management, or advertisers of the network. The show is found under LJA Broadcasting Network. UFO Talk Radio can, but does not necessarily promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and they are not intended to treat or diagnose and or claim to cure any disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. All music is purchased and owned by LJA Broadcasting.
I got the windows rolled down, got the radio up, and I'm heading out of Vegas tonight. And it's 1:30 on a 4-day run, and the desert is a welcome sight. I can see you there in that dress you wear, and it's keeping my foot on the gas. I drink a gallon of Joe just to make it back home and hold you in my arms and laugh.
From deep in the desert of Nevada, broadcasting to the world, it's the Glenn Larry Show. Are you ready? What you are about to experience to the world is real. Right along with us. From deep in the desert of Nevada, the Glenn Larry Show.
And I am here, everybody. I do welcome you all and bid you all welcome wherever you may be from, what time zone you might be from, and to all the late time drivers out there. All you guys work so hard at night. I know how it is on that long road, but you're listening to the Glenn Larry Show. And to the ham operators, side banders, 73s to you guys, and the silent key whiskey 60 Baker. I want to thank you so very much. K6RCL and Glita, we say hello to him too, and all the affiliates out there and broadcasters, small stations. Low-powered FM, low-powered AM net, of course. Leo, how good to see you out there. FM 101.3, K6, I'll tell you right now, AM 6010 is starting to happen real great over here. And thank you again for listening to us, you guys. Yeah, kudos go out to you. KPFF and FM in Pahrump, Nevada, we do thank you also. Great little station out there. So if you're in Pahrump, Nevada, tune in. Great guy. Good people. The music's fantastic also. A big shout goes out to Creekside Diner at Kennett Square in Pennsylvania. Karen over there really supports EMS and all the fire and all the supports all those guys down there. I'll tell you, I'll get back up there to see her. I promise you. I will. Yes. Gonna have a good show tonight. Yeah, a lot going on. We had a very busy week. I got to go visit my friend Bo Greitz, good friend of mine, and see him. I spent the whole day yesterday with him, and we talked about a lot of cool stuff, man. That guy's been around, I'll tell you for sure. Up in age, we all are getting older, as we are, but we had a great visit. Yes, and tonight I have a gentleman that's going to be on. We call him Mr. Thomas, and he's a man of knowledge and a man that really likes to talk about a lot of things. And I get to rap with him. I go, man, I want to talk about the Knight Templars. The Vatican. The whole thing. You can see on the Facebook page. Is it true? I mean, what I put up there. Could it be that there are crash sites all over the world? And these different countries that have these UFO crashes, they have them too. Who would be the first one to find out how it really works, and then what will they use it for? How it really works and what will they use it for? Yeah, a lot of new technology out there, a lot of really cool stuff that they brought to us. And, well, we're doing our thing, of course. I'm sure they're doing their thing too. They've asked for help. Maybe we're sharing all this space stuff. I don't know. Maybe we're going to get together and figure it all out. But no one's really talking, I guess, right? We get what we get. This disclosure, what we get is what we get. I don't know, whatever. But Mr. Thomas will be on soon. I want to say hello to Randy out there and Kennedy in Florida. Yes. Barbara and Neil over there in London, England. Ed, of course, my buddy in Texas, Jonathan. And we have Lou over there in Lompoc. Lompoc. Yeah. And of course, Robin Prump, over the hump and Prump. Yes, Heidi, like to say hello to her too. Chris Ears, Pat, and a bunch of people out there. And everybody from Olympia, remember, they're starting to go up here on this side here. We do want to thank you very much on the AM side. If you go to goodspringsradio.com, you can hear us on the radio, and they take you to K Ghost and all those other stations. Yeah, I tell you for sure. Well, to not hold back, because I'm excited about this show tonight, because when I talked to certain people just this week, we were talking about the Vatican and what they may have. They have all these secret stuff already, the big vault and everything, and all the scrolls in there, everything about the Bibles in there, and they've got a bunch of good stuff. The observatory they've got going, they're into it. Yeah, they are. Trust me. I mean, you've read about it, and but they've got some stuff that I've been told that may be in a big basement, bigger than a basement, and it's wreckage parts from a UFO or UAP, as they would say, but they're parts, and they're whatever. They've got them, and what they're doing with them, they have their own scientists, of course, too, and they have those that are the protectors of all that. Yeah. The Knights Templars. Oh, well, let's talk about that too. Jonathan, are you with me, man? Are you there? Jonathan, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Thomas. I'm here.
Thomas, sorry. It's Jonathan. Yeah, I just had him on the phone. That's why I thought about his name. I do that. You get old, that things happen. Mr. Thomas, okay. Here we are. And quite a bit of the Knights Templars, and how did it kind of all start? Well, I mean, how did it all kind of go this way? I mean, I watch a lot of movies, and they were like pretty heavy duty type of thing. The Guardians, and well, go ahead. I'd like to hear this.
Well, they are the history of the Templars is fascinating. But beyond that, it's the mysteries and a lot of questions that still remain about them. And also the connections, like a wheel with spokes, the different areas that, that they lead to, different. So as you were saying, the UFO parts in the Vatican. And they're kind of like right in the middle of that. And to start in the beginning with the Templars, first, when we look at where they came from, was around the year 1119. And it was a French knight named Hughes de Payens. And what he did is he went into Jerusalem, and he approached a king at that time named King Baldwin II. And he also spoke with the patriarch of Jerusalem. And he proposed about creating a monastic religious order for the protection of pilgrims. Now, with all these kind of things, I think a lot of times you hear things on the surface that sound really good, protection of the pilgrims, but as this unravels or starts to become more revealed, you can kind of see that maybe that's just the cover.
Right.
But anyways, he pitches that to the king and the patriarch, and they agree to his request, and they are granted a headquarters in a wing in the palace on the Temple Mount. Now, what's important about that is that the Temple Mount, according to tradition and scripture, is where the first temple was built by King Solomon.
Yes.
Now, at that time, the Templars, there was only 9 of them. And they were broke, and they had to rely on donations to survive.
Yeah, they were very, yeah.
All right. Now, the thing is what rumor has it is that they started to do excavations underneath King Solomon's temple.
Mm-hmm.
And they suddenly left Jerusalem and went back to France, where they got the support of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, who was a very powerful man in France. So once they secured that, that's when their order grew very rapidly. They were able to grow in size, as far as their men.
Right,
and,
right. Rebuild.
And they returned back to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
So the question comes up is, why were they digging under the temple, and what did they find? What were they able to go back to France with, to have an ally of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux,
right,
who was connected with the Vatican at the time. So what the Templars, what gets interesting though is when we start looking at going into the Bible and things that are around, the Vatican.
right.
It's like Abraham. What is Abraham known for? The biblical Abraham. He's known as one of the founders, or he brought Christianity and a couple of the other religions of today forth.
Right.
But what's interesting is that, and it's even stated in the Bible, that Abraham was raised in Ur, which a lot of scholars have agreed that Ur was a Sumerian city.
There you go.
And what's important about that is that what we have is the Sumerian king list. And with the Sumerian king list, one of the very first things that it says is after the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Urdu. And it began the reign of two particular kings. So you could look at that as interstellar traveling ship, arrived at Earth,
right?
And their ships descended from the heavens, and there we have the first two guides to humanity, who could have been related to the Anunnaki or the Anunnaki, and from them came Abraham. And then Moses. And then with Moses, he was given the instructions on how to construct the Ark of the Covenant.
Right, right.
So why did King Solomon build his temple? Number one, it was for God, but it also was a place to keep the Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, was a place to keep scrolls and other artifacts that could have been connected with the Sumerians. So here we go. We roll a little bit forward, and the Templars show up, and they excavate underneath the Temple of the Mount.
Yep.
And what is it that they found? What did they find and bring back with them to France, become powerful, and then when the Pope decided that it was time to disband the Templars, what preceded that actually is also very interesting, is the fact that the King of France at the time, King Philip,
Yep.
When he raided surprised the Templars, one of the things that he missed and was upset about is that the Templars had ships, and he really wanted to get those ships. But when he sprang the trap on the Templars, those ships were gone. And nobody knows where those ships went. So what did they have on those ships?
Yeah.
That was so important.
And where did they end up hiding that stuff that they'd gotten, And
exactly.
And it ended up where? You know what I'm saying? And
right. That's the thing is, when you start looking at all the different connections that start coming together, all the roads seem to lead to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting is that did the Templars ever really completely disappear? Were they disbanded? And with that, with what was previously discussed earlier,
mm-hmm.
Keeping that in mind, I believe that the Templars never really completely disbanded.
No, I agree with that. I really do. Uh-huh.
Right, and there's evidence of their existence if we look. And one of those, there's a website called templarsnow.com, and he wrote down some of the clues very well.
Mm-hmm.
He writes about in the history of the first Swiss, the history of Switzerland.
Right.
There's accounts of white-coated knights that mysteriously appeared, and they offered to help the locals gain their independence. And their help was accepted, and it was noted that these white-coated knights were extremely vicious in battle. And you could tell that they were battle-hardened warriors. And so they won.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that's interesting to note is that if you look at the flag of Switzerland, it's a white cross on red, which is the exact reverse of a Templar cross.
Yeah. Right, Templar cross.
Which would be red on white.
Right.
So you've got those two things, but then when you start looking deeper, the Templars are known for creating one of the earliest banking systems.
Yes.
As a pilgrim, if you were going to travel to Jerusalem, you could go to a Templar fort or bank and give them their, the money, and they would give you a check
right.
that you could carry with you.
Right.
And then cash it when you get to Jerusalem. Well, one of the things that Switzerland is known for is the banking system.
Yeah, they sure are.
Right? And another thing that the Templars, which is a little bit obscure, is they were known for clock making and engineering. And I think a lot of people, when they watch different movies or hear stories about the Templars, and you bring in engineering, it kind of makes sense, because when you look at the churches and the fortifications and a lot of the things that the Templars accomplished, there's quite a bit of complex engineering that went into those.
Yes. I'm going to go hold on right for that. Hold that thought so I can get to a commercial real fast and we'll get right back with you. Okay, folks? We'll be right back right after this.
There's no typical meth user. I was from an upper middle class family. Meth is terribly addictive. My first time using it, I was hooked. There was no turning back. I lost my job. I was homeless. I never thought I'd see my family again. I have a great fear of meth because it took so much of me. I mean, it took everything. Meth took over my soul.
Visit our website at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
Violence, theft, drugs, graffiti. It's all part of joining a gang. In times like these, we need to protect our children and our community from gangs. Gangs often prey on unsupervised teens with low self-esteem, who perform poorly in school, who seek a sense of belonging, or are simply bored. Joining a gang often involves violent hazing rituals. Once in a gang, members can become alienated from their families, school, and friends. Drugs, guns, and malicious activity are common elements in gangs. Trying to leave a gang can be a difficult and dangerous process. The best way to get out of a gang is never to join one. Protect kids from being recruited by a gang. Know who they're hanging out with. Involve kids in after-school activities and provide positive role models. Help reduce gang activities in your community by working with local law enforcement and school systems. Don't let a kid you know get involved with gangs. Visit ncpc.org to learn more or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Now, back with Glenn Larry on UFO Talk Radio, deep in the desert of Nevada.
Oh, thank you so much. And we're back with Mr. Thomas. And back where we were at, I really do believe that Knight Templars, I believe that they're here now. I believe that they're active, and they really are active. And they're active in covering and protecting what they've got. And that includes UAP crash parts. I really believe that. So here we are. What do you think?
Right, I believe that as well. And the thing about this, there's so many different details and things that are involved or that surround all of this that it makes it a little bit difficult to discuss it in an hour. We could have made this into different parts, but chapter 1, chapter 2. But anyways,
I want to hear from some folks out there in our listening audience that believes that where we're at. I mean,
well, let me throw one thing in there real quick.
Go ahead.
The thing is that if we want to fast forward it, if we remember that the Templars felt that they were betrayed by the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but if you look today, we have Swiss guards that serve as personal escorts to the Pope. And this is a very important word here, is they're watchmen for Vatican City and the Pope's villa of Castel Gandolfo. And so my question there is, who's watching who?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha.
Are the Templars actually there to make sure that the UFO parts and the other items that may be related back to the Sumerians or the gods that came from the heavens are kept safe?
Well, I'm often wonder why observatory they're looking at that. I mean, what are they looking for? Also, I know they say that science, heaven and science, and all that type of stuff, but I think they have something else unplanned. We are starting to get some calls in, and I'd like to take this call. Are you ready there, sir?
Yes.
Hello, caller. Where are you from and what's your name, please?
This is Reggie from Las Vegas.
Okay, sir. And you're on the line with Mr. Thomas. Go ahead. What's your question?
Hi, Thomas and Glenn. A great show tonight. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights Templar, of course, were knights of the God, God, servicing the church, and back in the beginning. So I hear
Mm-hmm.
your comments about their protection of or keeping the UFO phenomenon. Do you believe the reason for this is they believe that the information of UFOs and aliens would bring down Christianity and the church? Are they doing this for protection of the church? Or what's their reason of this?
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Okay, well, with that, I think that what we have here is that we had a group of people that came across some knowledge and some information, and they used the cover of the church to carry out, their own plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they went to Jerusalem, they said all the right things. If they were going to sit down with the king and the patriarch and say, well, gee, you know what? We heard that there's actually evidence underneath the Temple of Solomon that indicates that there actually might be extraterrestrials. Of course, the answer would be, oh, we're not going to let you do that. So they said what the church would want to hear is that we're here to protect the pilgrims that are traveling to Jerusalem. So they, make sure they got the answer that they wanted. And that was for them to be, to be given the authority to do what they were doing, but also it gave them the opportunity to go forward with what they had planned from the beginning, which was to try to find what they felt was buried underneath that temple. And from the information that I've read, it seems that they found it.
Yeah.
I see. I guess my comment is about, that the Knights Templars were with the Crusades, and they were battle knights that were fighters, and they did supposedly claim that they live in poverty, but the organization was rather wealthy. I understand.
Right. They're called the poor fellow soldiers.
But even the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, all of this is based on the good guys
Mm-hmm.
of the Knights Templars. They through history they were portrayed as the helpers of the church, and all the people against the church or pagan and other religions, that they would weed them out as the Crusades. So I see what you're saying is from the beginning they found some sort of power or whatnot in Solomon's temple, which coincidentally, of course, the Rome did burn down,
Mm-hmm.
and they are excavating that. But of course, there's a lot of politics there. That area is of course sacred to the Muslims as well.
Right. Well, something to keep in mind too is that remember that the very first Templars, there was only 9. There's only 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes,
so if those nine were aware of something that was underneath the temple, Now, once they found what they were looking for,
they're going to protect it.
Excavated it and took it out of Jerusalem,
right?
Which I believe is probably in the catacombs of the Vatican these days. And I mean, even if you look at the Vatican, it's its own city, it's its own place. It has,
they're a sovereign country in itself. Tom, so you're saying that the Knights Templars still have an allegiance to the Vatican?
Yes.
I kind of think it's the reverse. I believe that it's the reverse. I think that the Templars are now watching over the Vatican. And the reason, like I said, it's kind of odd that back in the day that the Catholic Church or the Pope, he betrayed the Knights Templar.
Yeah, they were burned to the stake.
And so
they were all supposedly burned to the stake.
I think that's one reason why you see the red flag, with the white cross is, it's kind of a symbolism of that betrayal.
Recently, the Vatican, Tom. Recently, the Vatican has admitted that the Knights Templars were not guilty of heresy. So it was definitely that they were tortured to say that they worship the devil or blasphemous behavior. I believe this is probably because of debts that needed to be paid to France.
Right. Yeah. The King Philip owed the Templars a lot of money, and he pressured the Pope.
Correct.
To turn against the Templars.
Well, it's an interesting
betrayal takes place, but that even though the church, even though the Vatican is admitting that it was wrong with what they did, but the thing is that the Swiss guards are there in the Vatican, and they are watching the Vatican City.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it interesting that, see, they were there, they were, given that role before the admission that the church was wrong with what they did.
Well,
so
back to the
point. It's interesting that the Swiss are serving there as watchmen, and that's why I'm like, who's watching who?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
What is it there that they're actually watching?
Right. I mean, I've heard the conspiracy of their knowledge of extraterrestrial knowledge, and of course the church as well. And the reason that they want to keep it under wraps is sometimes they fear that it would
alter
hamper the faith and hamper people's belief in God and especially obviously the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So in other words, they're fighting for or keeping it secret for their survival. And I've heard that this conspiracy before, which in all sense it does it does make sense if indeed they're trying to hamper this information to keep it under wraps, so people don't dismiss religion and Christianity and all religions for that matter, and for science and technology.
Right.
Well,
there's something that's interesting on that point too, is the fact that if you want to look at like circumstantial evidence, let's say, okay, when the Bible was voted on, especially the book of Revelation, they had two choices. They had the choice between the Apocalypse of John and the Apocalypse of Peter. And they chose the Apocalypse of John over the Apocalypse of Peter exactly for the reason that you said. Is because in the Apocalypse of Peter, what happens in that is everybody is going to the Lord and saying, you know what kind of heaven is this if our family members are down in hell? And so the Lord agrees, and he brings everybody up to heaven. And the church is like, well, we don't want people to read that. So they discarded the Apocalypse of Peter and instead put in the Apocalypse of John, which is now Revelations in the modern Bible.
Now, let me say something. There is a book called The Yellow Book, apparently, that was left from the aliens, as I've been told, and that they really believe that, well, the Pope has it. They have it. They have it locked up. That's where it's at. It's not with the Air Force. It's with them. And
Right.
A lot of stuff's with them. And why don't they share that? We're getting to the point now where we need this information. Or maybe they have shared it with somebody, but who? Or who? So, I mean, I'm still going to stay in the theory that they do have these UFO and UAP parts, crash parts. And of course, who has what and who puts what together and makes it work. It's going to be the person who's going to be in control.
Right.
And I don't know if that's going to be for the good or for the bad, or for the worse. But
well, that is something that has become kind of like real foggy.
yeah,
Who are the black hats and who are the white hats?
right. Again,
it's like,
I want to thank the caller, by the way, for calling. I don't want to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
Again,
he had excellent
It's
points.
Reggie.
Good question.
It's nice talking to you.
yes.
Nice talking to you. You have a good evening.
Bye-bye now. Yeah. Now, but here we are again, and the same old question: who has what, and why don't they let things go? And you don't get to see everything at all. I mean, there were those that have had opportunities to come in there and look for certain things, certain items, and they got to see that. But a lot of stuff you're not going to see or even touch, So yeah. I'm gonna take some more callers. Open this line. If I could stand by.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada. Lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114.
And by the way, I want to thank everybody for your comments that are coming through. And say hello to Alan and Daryl out there. God, good to see you out there. And the world famous, got you back. I got you, Alan, too. And a couple other folks out there saying hello to you. And we got you on Facebook and YouTube, and got some real nice hearts, some real nice, cool stuff you're sending to us. Yeah. If you have a question, give us a call. You can talk to Mr. Thomas. And do you believe that the Vatican has these UFO parts, UAP parts? And do you believe that there's crashed UFOs, UAPs, other places and parts of the world too? What do you believe on that level? Now, we can take it as far as we want to, but I really think that the Templars are back. I really think they're watching over this stuff, especially the UFO stuff. I think it's a group that's assigned for just that. And who says they could bring them back? Am I right, Mr. Thomas?
Yes, you are.
Who says they couldn't bring them back? And I mean, it's pretty deep. It gets really deep. Just because they were cut off in the past doesn't mean it can't be here now. I'm gonna open the front line.
Oh, exactly.
The rump lines are open at 775-990-8275. That's 775-990-8275. To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada. Lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114.
And that yellow book is all about the secrets and what could be cured and what, all sorts of things. So it's pretty interesting how they ended up with that. It was not the Air Force, by the way. And it gets even deeper than that, my friend. But with that, I mean, there's a lot of secret organizations out there to this day that you don't even hear about. And
Right.
you know, the government may look at them as a threat, maybe not. Maybe look at them as maybe they're just a group and that group or whatever, or maybe they're doing to do some good out there, which I would love to see happen. But the groups that really look into the UFO, the government, and all this stuff, the groups that really are in-depth investigators that really have the meat, you don't hear about that group, but you hear about the other groups. And all of a sudden, they just kind of pop up in Congress. Oh, this is another 3-letter group or 4-letter. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, whoa, I never heard of those guys before. Space, what space outfit was this one? How many is there now? That's another question. I mean, they're popping up everywhere. Even got the space guide calls me, so it's interesting stuff. And again, give us a call. I'm getting a lot of emails here. I can look up and read as much as I can. It's pretty getting a lot of them, and some funny questions. And the Templars, they don't wear underwear. I don't get nothing with them. Who would write that? It's great though to get some of these. It's fantastic. But what do you think, folks? I mean, really, the gentleman that called before had he's right on, and he had a lot of history. And a lot of people don't know anything about it. I didn't know much about it myself, because that's just not my realm of study, and I don't want to get them out of the movies, of course. But I knew a little bit of it. But here we are again. Is there UFOs? Is there crash sites all over the world? We've heard that they are. Russia, China, Japan. I think another one was in Australia was one, 2 in Australia, and of course several here, and a lot of them have not been even reported, of course. And these retrieval teams that are out there getting these crafts, you hear of, the United States is here. All of a sudden, the United States is in Mexico taking away this UFO, because they don't have a group that does that, I guess. So here we are, the good of the United States. We'll just take it, whatever. And so we're getting a lot of the knowledge. We're getting a lot of reverse engineering going here. And like Bob Lazar says, it's whoever gets to it first is going to have it. Whoever can control gravity is going to have a lot of power. Right. And so that's quite interesting. I'm going to put this number out here again for these folks. Stand by.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada, lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114.
Okay, there we go. Let's get some calls coming on here. We got about 15 more minutes. And on that information that you've been giving us, Mr. Thomas, go ahead. What else do you got for us?
Well, something that was brought up by the caller, it was a good point about, the Templars were doing good. And something that we could see happening today, even though we see a lot of information that we feel is being suppressed, it seems that there's other ways that the truth is coming out. You see a lot of, for instance, like Dr. Greer with his CE5 program, being able to make contact with extraterrestrials. And, a lot of, as you mentioned, small groups that are really interested in learning what's out there, what the truth may be, no matter how hard, like, the other side is trying to keep it from everybody.
Yeah, right. We do have another caller.
One way to keep
Thomas, we do have another caller. But
good. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over that line. Caller, go ahead. You're on the line. What's your name and where are you from, please?
Hello, Glenn.
Hello. This is
Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. How are you? We have not heard from you for quite a while.
Guys, we were just having some some dessert after dinner, and we have your show on the big screen on the YouTube.
Well, great. Well, great. What do you think about the show tonight, Barbara?
Oh, it's very interesting, Glenn. But I recall seeing a movie about this Templar business.
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks.
Right, yeah.
Do you recall this?
Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks, huh?
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code.
That's the Da Vinci Code. And weren't they the man was hitting himself and whipping himself and
Right.
like punishing himself. And they was something about Jesus and Mary Magdalene had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this, Glenn?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And
the
yeah.
Templars were involved in that.
that's
right. And you'll see a lot of stories in a lot of movies
Uh-huh.
that are basing,
Yeah.
their plots, from a lot of what we were talking about tonight in the Templars.
I've never heard of them with the UFO business. Just this, the whipping and the in that movie, he was very mean. The bald guy, the bald gentleman.
Yeah.
And supposedly they were protecting the church. Now I am a Christian, but I'm not a Catholic. But I am a Christian, and I do believe in Jesus.
Good.
So the Knights, I do know there's some history about the Knights Templar, and they were helping the church. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
It is.
But I truly believe that they're protecting the secret.
You believe that they're protecting UFO secrets, Glenn?
Mm-hmm. I really do. I think one of many.
Fascinating. And you believe that the Catholic Church has information and artifacts?
This is my belief. Yeah.
Yeah.
My thoughts on this.
Well, I think we all know that the Vatican does have, underneath, I'll say vaults. They do have, we know they have things that are there that are heavily protected. So what would those things be? Why would they feel that they need to be heavily protected?
Oh, yes. I've been to Rome and in the Vatican
Mm-hmm.
and did the tour,
Mm.
and there was guards everywhere. So that is very secure, like Fort Knox over there.
Unbelievable electronics
And,
too.
They do have a lot of things over there. They got a lot of money. Yes. Hold on. Steve says they have a lot of money. They're rich.
Steve, yeah. Yes, Steve, they probably do.
And they probably keep it in the banks in Switzerland.
They probably do that too. I guarantee.
Hold
Right.
on. He said they keep them in the banks in Switzerland.
Yes, yes, they do. Those Catholics got a lot of money over there at home.
Gold.
He says they have a lot of gold.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well.
Anyways, man, it's an interesting show.
Well, thank you for
and
calling.
Like I said, we were just watching it on the YouTube.
Great.
You're on the YouTube,
You want
Glenn.
people to ring that bell and also subscribe to us too, by the way, if you're listening.
Well, of course, so, Glenn. And we're just having a little ice cream dessert after dinner.
Nice.
We had Taco Tuesday. There's
What? Taco Tuesday, and he's having beer. He said. What did he say?
no, he loves tacos.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, that's fantastic. And beer. I
Drink
knew that
beer
was
with
going to
his
come out.
taco.
I just knew that. Oh, wow.
Anyway,
Say hi to Glenn.
Steve says hello.
Well, I tell Steve hello too. All right, good deal.
He says hello.
Hey, well, thank you for your call, everybody. And
Anyway, Glenn, it's nice talking to you. And is it John?
No,
Jonathan?
Dr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas. Yeah.
Thomas. Thomas,
Don't you
it's a pleasure talking to you,
No.
and it's very interesting topic tonight, and it's my pleasure to call.
Thank you
And
very
have
much.
A good night, and
Thank you, Barbara.
And God bless.
All right, you too, Barbara. Thank you so much. That's a great lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, so they probably got a little gold there also, I would think.
Yeah.
They got their own vault. They can do what they want. It's very, very, like she says, very, very much protected. And of course, not only for just guards and they got machine guns and they got the cameras. They got every electronics you can think of. You think you see it on
Right.
that Mission Impossible stuff. It's 10 times as much of that, the vault that you can't open type of thing, But
Right.
we're going to open this line again. Okay, stand by. Let's get some
Okay.
more callers.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada. Lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Now, here again, Glenn Larry.
And I am back. Thank you, Ross. So I've got a lot of emails here, and do call.
Okay.
And people are asking me, why don't they share? The other countries share. We all get together and open this can of worms up. One guy says we couldn't take the truth. We couldn't take the truth. Would fail religion. That's another one. Another one says, great show. Yeah, some of this it's kind of long. Hi, Larry.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but again, yeah. That would be so cool if everyone could get together, put down arms, make this happen, this world, and just come together. Like that. Come together and
Right.
and share this information, and this may change mankind. Imagine
I
that.
think that'll happen. You see a lot of movement and, not only with others, faiths of worship,
Mm-hmm.
some of the smaller churches, but also, like what Heidi's doing in Russia and, in the metaphysics
Right.
with, the way that I think no matter how hard you try to suppress information, it's going to get out there. And I think we could see that happening.
It's already starting. Correct. A lot of misinformation also happening.
Right.
And that's, of course, like I say, I love my country, but I don't trust the guys, the government. I don't. I'm sorry. I just too much has happened, and where we're at now, where we're going. God, I just hope that we all, like I say, pull together because we have to rely on each other.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because I know other governments are really messed up than ours is. I mean, you wouldn't fathom what goes on in those different countries, and we're free, and we are America, and I'm very proud to be American. But if we could somehow get on some type of a wavelength where we're kind of thinking the same in this special way of saving mankind instead of trying to destroy it. And, this information, especially that yellow book, get that out and, let's study it.
Right.
Who knows what they've shared, or not. So let me open this call again.
To talk with Glenn Larry, deep in the desert of Nevada. Lines are open at 1-702-874-1114. That's 702-874-1114. Rump lines are open at 775-990-8275. That's 775-990-8275.
Where will we be? Where will we be in 10 years? The big asteroid's coming. You know that, don't you? And,
Could be.
and California's supposed to leave and slide off in the ocean and whatever. I may have oceanside property someday up here.
Right.
And the sun's flares are coming out, might take us down too. And then we say, well, the UFOs, Are they friendly? Are they friendly or not? I mean, are they going to be our buddies? Are we food for them? Were we an experiment that went bad? Is this hell? Were we them at one time, and they have moved on and evolved, and here we are. The slow child playing with matches, and all of a sudden we're in trouble. We built those nukes. We've we progressed a little faster than they thought. Maybe we'll just stamp them out like we did the dinosaurs or whatever. Change things around a little bit. Are we in a big maze? Is it all real, or is it just something that we're just living in a dream? Or well, I have faith that hopefully I have faith. So faith is faith, and we shall prevail as human beings if we remember all to get along. And that's. I hope that's.
Well, something I'd like to point out is, even with tonight's topic, is as far as extraterrestrials and God, I don't. Just because there's extraterrestrials doesn't automatically eliminate the existence of God.
Right.
I think under God, anything could exist. I mean, anything's possible. And
we probably can't even think it.
Extraterrestrials and other civilizations, all kinds of things.
Right. What's fascinating of the friends that I know personally that have actually seen these UFOs and seen flying saucers. I've seen them. I've seen clusters of stars, millions of stars moving by themselves all together. That's impossible, man. That's a mothership. And a lot's going on up in space that we even don't even know about. And it's being tracked here. A friend of mine's friend that I got to meet, Air Force gentleman, said, yeah, lots going on. Don't worry about space.
Yep.
We're got that pretty. We're doing well up there. So that was okay. Yeah, can't talk about it, but yeah, I got it. And so yeah, here we are. Well, show's about over with. I really want to thank you for calling and discussing all this. It's kind of a big thing to talk about. A lot to it.
Oh, it is. There's a lot of details that are still out there, and I really would like to encourage people to look for themselves.
Right.
The information's out there.
Right.
Just got to open your eyes and look.
Yeah, that's the key. Open your eyes, look, and try to have an open mind. And it's all there. It's all on that internet. What do you think about that, huh? In Wikipedia, it's pretty good. I don't know, it's on certain things. But there's a lot out there to read, and please take your time and do so. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. I want to thank Bo Greats. I thank him. I had a good time with him yesterday. A lot of the fans have called in. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. Give us a thumbs up if you like the shows. And of course, we do take donations also. It's all part of keeping the lights on. I want to thank a couple of people out there that have done that. Dee and Ken, God bless them, and a couple of other folks out there. But hey, love you. God bless. Play well together and be safe. Study. Have fun. And if you get picked up on a UFO or a UAP, tell us your story, because I want to hear it first. I really do. Yeah. Again, Mr. Thomas, thanks so very much. You be well, my friend.
You too. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you, folks.